What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my beautiful co-hosts, Josh and John Luke. What's up, guys?
Honk. There's like glass doors. Like you come into a front door, like it's a normal front door, and then they got like the glass door, like the first door you
and
open,
you walk into it not realizing it's a door.
No. Like you ever you walk in and like for my house I have to unlock it, then the glass door is behind me, and then it shuts too fast. And it, like literally like cuts into your Achilles as hard as it can. That just happened. 15 minutes ago.
Starting to count
Achilles from it. So
so far getting attacked by doors.
Yeah,
guys. It is Mock Draft Monday, and we brought a special guest on today to mock draft with us. Justin, thank you so much for coming on. For those of you that do not know Justin, you can find him on Twitter at TITTHJB. Take it to the hizzy, and then those are his initials right beside it. Justin is a podcast host and writer with Take It to the Hizzy and over on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today, my man.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate you having me back. Looking forward to doing some drafting here. I already have one startup in the books so far this March, so I feel like I have a little bit of an advantage. We'll see.
Me too, Justin. Me too. I got one.
Oh, there we go.
I'm holding out
same page
as long as possible because I know once like the preseason comes around, anybody that invites me, I'm gonna say yes to. I'll be so excited. So I'm saving all my yeses until that moment because otherwise I'm gonna get to 30 leagues. We got Craig in here ready for the day. He said, "Good day, FYF. Hope you are ready for a week full of fun debates, informative discussion, and shenanigans." Yeah, I think we'll get all of those covered, hopefully, maybe except for informative discussion. Jordan in here, what's up? He said, "Can't believe they don't start the show at 2:30 anymore." Yeah, like we did that one time, always.
Back in the day, we started at 2. We tried
1 too.
I think it was changed a couple times.
Yeah,
maybe we started really late one day, and so we did start at 2:30. Craig saying what we're all thinking. We have missed you, Jordan, and Alex saying let's mock each other. Yeah, mock draft Monday.
You're a loser, Simon.
No, yeah, well, you're the Luigi of the group. We've got
means you're
delightful.
Compliment. Thank you for the compliment.
Who's Toad?
Luigi's the worst. JL's Toad.
I like Toad.
Toad's fast.
Actually, you know what?
Josh
might be Toad. Like if we had to give everyone a Mario character.
the no shirt but a vest, that's 100% Josh. That was his Halloween costume every year.
Toad's really expressive
Toad, guys.
too.
I'm gonna get my vest.
Yeah, go get your crossing guard vest. So you're basically
a little bit.
In case it said, "Yo guys, did you see the Cowboys might franchise tag Dalton Schultz?" I did see that. From what I'm reading, it makes a lot of sense. They've got some bigger contracts.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, if they release Cooper, it's going to be more expensive to tag Gallup. From what I've heard, they've got a couple defensive players they need to sign that would be more expensive to tag. Schultz would be an $11 million cap hit, I believe, if they tagged him this year, which isn't bad for a franchise tagged player. So makes a lot of sense.
Number 3 overall tight end in fantasy last year.
Makes a lot of sense that they would do that. Craig said that story was adorable, Josh.
That
was a good one. That was a good one.
Was adorable. Just what you did right there. Thank you.
And Jay in here saying, "Simon, that was uncalled for. Luigi is the worst." Yeah, I'm sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to throw that evil on you right away.
No, guys, no. The thing is, Luigi's pretty cool. So
I
don't take it as an insult.
Justin, where do you stand on Luigi? This is very important.
So this is pretty funny. Luigi used to be like my guy, like an old school Mario Kart, like N64.
Okay.
And it was really simple, just like, hey, like it's not as popular as Mario, and green's my favorite color. You know, it's just kind of playing to the simple narratives there. But playing against my friends all the time, what we call playing for pride, is playing all of the maps straight through, and whoever has the, obviously the most points through all wins the whole thing. And I think I probably went like months of never winning with Luigi. I was just like, I'm done. I get him out of here. Like I gotta get this guy off the roster, So I transitioned to Toad. I transitioned to Toad, and let me tell you, man, Toad's a fun guy to play with. He's a fast
one. Turn the tables.
It reminds me. I know. Simon, Maria, and I were playing a night recently. I forget what you were rolling really well. You're like, man, I'm just on it.
Mario
and then
Party.
you rolled
this
Mario
is Mario
Party.
Party.
Yeah, sorry. And then he has one bad roll, and he's like, freaking Peach. And I'm like, wait, so it's the character's fault if it goes bad, but it's your
100% of the time.
Well, was it the like the newer Mario Party with what's that new system?
Switch.
I have it. I never play it. Yeah, the Switch.
It was
because that Mario Party is like way different than the old school Mario Party.
But everyone has the character have their own dice too. So like,
the one we were
can use the dice.
Not that one, Josh. The
next
one that came out, Superstars.
I didn't even know there was a new one.
Yeah, they went back to the old style and like revamped a bunch of the old games and made them new. So
anyway, that's that one.
I'm not a fan of the Switch version.
The newest Switch version I would try out. It's much better.
Yeah,
Super Mario
Superstars.
Like
the old ones.
Yeah,
but the old new one, the old Switch one sucks.
The old Switch one is awful. It's the worst Mario Party in the series. We got Vincent in here saying, so happy I got Schultz on both my big money leagues off waiver wires last year.
Off the waiver wire? That's also
where he was.
Off the waiver wire.
And
that's where he was.
Waluigi is the best. Waluigi is not an insult.
Ew.
I love Waluigi.
Ew. I'm not getting into this because I'm not going to take us down this rabbit hole further, but what?
And Alex in here saying mock draft of Nintendo characters.
If we could, we would.
Guys, before we get into our mock draft, a couple reminders. Number one, if you are not already following our guest, Justin, go and do that right now on Twitter. Like I said before, his Twitter handle is at TITTHJB. It is right there below his handsome face on the screen, so make sure you guys are following him. After you do that,
don't know what it is.
After you do that, if you're watching this video, that means you are already on our YouTube or Twitch channels. If you're on Twitch, hit that follow button. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube. It is the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing over here. And some of you forgot to get Josh a birthday present like 2 weeks ago. So this could be the way to make up for that, right?
I'm still waiting.
I know. Josh just messaged me every day. Like, still waiting. Haven't gotten it yet, but maybe that'll happen. Guys, I'm going to go and pull.
I'm waiting, Justin.
My birthday's in 2 weeks, so we'll call it even at that time.
All right.
Well, when he doesn't get you
until
anything.
that time, I'm going to give you shit.
You are ahead. You are ahead for now.
Guys, today we are doing a PPR Dynasty Startup mock draft. While we're waiting right here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the roster so you guys can see this. It's 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. And then we've only got 4 bench spots today because we're not doing a full mock. We'd be here all day. But we're going to knock out this 12 rounds starting. PPR means point per reception. For those of you that haven't played in a league like that before, which means every time anybody catches the ball, they get an extra point added to their score compared to standard. Are you guys ready? Josh, you've got the first pick.
Oh, I'm ready.
And I forgot my phone in the other room, which I'm drafting from. So I'm going to go grab that. And JL is going to be be on this mock draft today. He's not drafting with us.
Hey, JL.
So I'm going to start this draft. Josh. And all of us are drafting in the top half, which I feel like at least one of us is usually drafting in the bottom half. So I'm excited for this.
All of us. Even you, Justin, you got the number 6 pick there. I love
scared.
I love being in the middle of the draft.
I don't love it. I want to give some good advice about it.
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, there's 3 players that I'm taking with the top 3 picks. I won't get into them specifically. I'm going to go a different direction than I typically go. I'm going to go a different direction than I typically go. There's 2 guys I would have ranked above this guy, and I'll get into a little bit why I'm making this decision a little bit later. But I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor here, which no one is going to give me crap for because I think he's the consensus number 1 overall pick.
Jonathan Taylor
up here because Simon's got to click on his screen, but I went with Jonathan Taylor at the 101.
Can't hate it.
Nice. This is problematic because I can only see this screen. Fair enough. Who's being picked up? Oh, there he goes. Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase by Jordan.
Wow.
I'm okay with that. Are you guys judging anyone who takes Jamar Chase at the 101?
No.
This is Dynasty. So
real fast. This ties into your question. I think there's a tier of 3 players that should be the first 3 picks of pretty much every 1 quarterback draft, and they just went right here.
I was about to say,
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Jonathan Taylor. So I do not blame anyone for going Jamar Chase there. If you were looking at my Dynasty rankings, especially recently, I've recently put Jamar Chase above Justin Jefferson.
Josh.
So I would say that Jamar Chase is number 1.
I'm of the same opinion. That's why I took the 3
spot. We were so close. Simon, we were Justin Jefferson above Jamar Chase like all season.
I know. And I just made the switch as well. If you pull up my Dynasty rankings, look at the edits like 3 days ago. I finally pulled the trigger, moved Jamar Chase above Justin
finally
Jefferson.
did it. It's the talent. It's the situation. He's a year younger. That doesn't really matter too much in my mind, but like.
No, if anything, it's a tiebreaker, but yeah. I'm with you and Josh. The reason I picked the 103 spot was exactly what you said. I wanted one of those 3 guys. I wanted Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, or Justin Jefferson on my team to start this draft, and I would have been fine with any of them. The order would have been Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor in my eyes.
But, for me too, as well, Simon. And now Justin's on the clock. And just real fast, I went with Jonathan Taylor because it feels like typically with my rankings, I do not get a running back in the first round. And I want to see what that looks like for the rest of the draft. Typically, I am taking a quarterback if we do a super flex or a wide receiver with this first pick. So I just want to see what it looks like. And that's what mock drafts are for, people.
I'm with
Justin! CeeDee Lamb.
Right there with Justin Jefferson, in my opinion. Amari Cooper sounds like he's out the door if not being traded. The guys that they're looking to bring back, Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson. Well, I think those guys could be good value picks in your drafts. I still think that makes CeeDee Lamb clearly the alpha one male with the Dallas Cowboys. Volume, let's go. Let's crank it up.
So has CeeDee Lamb's has he moved up your draft board? Well, I mean, it's a dumb question. Would you have taken him this high like 2 weeks ago? Or has the recent developments really shot?
Yeah, I mean the clairvoyancy for sure. Like if the writing's on the wall and the franchise is speaking so loudly that hey, this guy's available. One, I believe that makes his trade value low. If the team is just screaming like, hey, we're trying to get rid of this guy, no one's going to run to help you. He's probably going to wind up getting cut. So yeah, definitely the recent news for sure helps.
Where would you have drafted him before? I guess the last 2 weeks. Would it still have been first round? Second round, and obviously, of course, it depends on format. If this is super flex, his value's a little bit back more. I mean, probably taking a quarterback here, right? So yeah, but it was single quarterback. I feel comfortable taking him anywhere in the first round after those first 4 guys. I would take him over DeAndre Swift still, in my opinion. I think he's a little bit better value still than Swift. I think I would too. Simon, how do you feel about CeeDee Lamb with all this stuff shaking out? I know that all 3 of us are high on CeeDee Lamb's talent and have been, but how does this situation change his outlook in the short-term future for you?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. I started going and then didn't hear myself in my ears. But CeeDee Lamb has been my dynasty wide receiver 3 for a while now. But I do think there's a bit of separation after Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson to CeeDee Lamb at that 3 for me. Now, that being said, he would be my 4th guy off the board. It would be these 3 players that we talked about already: Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, in that order, and then CeeDee Lamb's right up next as the 4th player for me, ahead of Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, and any of these other guys. In the recent news, like he was up there for me. You didn't have to take him that early, but that's how I would have ranked him in dynasty rankings prior to this news. So it stays the same. Maybe it closes that gap a little bit, but if you believe in the talent, I think that matters more in dynasty here. And the situation was already good, maybe not ideal, but it's not like he was in a bad situation for an elite wide receiver on that Cowboys offense.
Got some updates here. Josh, I'm curious, how do you feel about Michael Gallup? I know that he's been in the news cycle lately with all of these changes, Amari Cooper leaving in Dallas, saying they want to keep him, but a little too much money than they expected, or a little bit more money than they expected him to demand. And he's an interesting case because in Dynasty, it feels like his value has gone up and down with these injuries. What's your outlook on Michael Gallup going forward? Are you bullish at all?
I would say I'm probably more bullish than the average person on Michael Gallup. I do think he's a very talented wide receiver that's never going to be a number 1 fantasy or real life wide receiver in the NFL or in fantasy. Having said that, though, that doesn't mean I'm out on him. Like I said, I think I'm probably more bullish on than most people. He's got to find himself in the right situation. Even right now, not knowing what team he's on, I'm willing to take a shot on him. I'm not going to tell you guys how early because maybe I end up with him later in the draft. No, I'm joking. But now, if Amari Cooper leaves there, if somehow he does re-sign with the Dallas Cowboys, I think that's a very good situation. He's produced with the Dallas Cowboys with talented people around him. Even when Dak Prescott was out of the lineup, he was pretty good. I think Michael Gallup is a very good wide receiver. Talent-wise, I think he's in the top 35 wide receivers in the NFL right now. So that means he should be on every dynasty team out there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad I've held on. I was going to say not top 5, though.
That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was the 6th running back off the board, and that was not a Vincent's decision. We have to assume Vincent would take Cam Akers as the top 5 back. I missed your Cam Akers love, Vincent. It's really been a while. Whenever you came in, I was waiting for you to say. I know I was waiting for you to say something about Cam Akers. I was like, oh, maybe he's not a Cam Akers fan anymore. And then we got that comment.
But I mean, he gets Cam Akers and Javonte Williams, 2 young stud running backs.
Not a bad start.
God, I am so uncomfortable because I feel like a lot of wide receivers have gone, like more so than usual at this point. This has been wide receiver heavy, and this is
Jordan said, AJ Brown is still dirty. Love me some AJ Brown. Jordan, I've sent you so many freaking trade requests or trade offers involving AJ Brown and others. You just never respond to me. Son of a bitch. Slap him next time you see him, Josh.
Terry.
You know me.
Terry.
I love Terry.
Needs a quarterback, but I love Terry too.
Yeah. I think that's an appropriate spot for Terry McLaurin. That's right where he's probably going. And then Alex said Akers over Mixon. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I think I would take Mixon pretty far ahead of Akers. Any of you taking
Bengals are going to invest in that O-line this offseason.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why you would invest in draft Akers over Mixon is because of the age, I think.
The age, right?
But Mixon,
what's their difference here?
It's not always enough for me. I mean, there's always that narrative of age over like present value and talent, but like you got to play to win. Like you can't just stack your whole roster full of young players that are going to put up half-ass production.
Yeah.
I don't hate Akers over Mixon, but I wouldn't be doing it. I'd be taking Mixon, but I am often I'm notoriously age agnostic in Dynasty.
Sure.
Notoriously.
I don't care as much about age. I love those 27 to 29-year-old wide receivers. I know this is running back, but Antonio Gibson.
Good start.
I love your start, Justin. Whenever I saw you get Devontae Adams on the turn, I was like, oh my God, this is my dream start. CeeDee Lamb plus Devontae Adams. Like, that's beautiful.
I started the most recent startup that I did. I landed CMC in the back end, very similar to where Jordan took him. I took him at pick 11, I believe, and then it was super flex, so I came back around CMC quarterback, and then Devontae Adams in the third, which I thought was amazing. I did not expect that to happen even in a super flex.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think he's going to get franchise tagged. I feel like that's another recent kind of news tidbit that just kind of helps us a little bit.
He's gone, Josh. Don't look for him. Just don't even bother looking for that player. He's
just lower. Okay, cool.
You stinker. That was going to be my turn. It was going to be Terry McLaurin.
I'm high on DJ Moore, guys. I'm high on DJ Moore.
Hey, I love it. I love it, man.
Josh. Let me ask you a question.
That's some DJ love, though.
Had I taken DJ Moore there instead of Terry McLaurin, would you have drafted Terry McLaurin on that turn?
So that's where our conversation and our debates about where Terry McLaurin should be ranked kind of come in. I wouldn't have. I would not have.
I made the wrong decision then. I would
not have taken Terry McLaurin. I would rather have Chris Godwin on my team than Terry McLaurin. No offense to Terry McLaurin. I think he's uber talented. I love Terry McLaurin. That's where I am at. That's where I'm at.
Wow. Okay.
And maybe T. Higgins, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest T. Higgins guy. That's probably not where I'm going typically.
It's impossible to be the biggest T. Higgins guy when I'm here. Vince is saying open for debate. This is on the Akers just Mixon. Yeah, and I mean we're talking about like Akers is probably going in the back of the second or early third, probably more like early third, mid third. So it's not like that crazy of a reach. Yeah, we're kind of like talking nuance here. I don't think it's a bad pick at all.
No.
Look, like Pete in high school, Alex and Vincent, like the problem with Cam Akers over Mixon is that Cam Akers, like, what has he ever really shown in the NFL? Like, yeah, I know he had like 3 pretty good games last season, and that's pretty much it. Like he showed a couple plays here and there over the postseason once he got back from his Achilles injury. I know it's a significant injury, and I know we got to give him some time to actually get back into football shape. But like Cam Akers has had like 3 good games total in his NFL career. So that's a lot of draft. That's a lot to draft into a guy that's really only shown that much.
I've felt that way since his rookie year, Josh. I felt this a similar way where I felt like everybody was like considering him locked and loaded like for forever now because he had a few good games, and I don't know. I wasn't like predicting that he wasn't going to be good.
See, we have to project things. Like Saquon Barkley was a first-round dynasty pick before he played a snap in the NFL. So I'm not saying that like Cam Akers can't be successful just because he hasn't really shown it. But we're going into his 3rd year now. I wish I could have seen more from him so far.
Yeah, he's running back, so I think that factors in where running backs just are not as valuable in the NFL.
And also at running back, we expect to see it quicker. Like at running back, we're like right away. If you're not doing something, like, what are you doing?
Right. So
running backs.
Vince sniped on Breece Hall. I thought this is interesting. I think from our early, the last few weeks, now the combine, it seems like I think the first rookie was being taken a couple weeks ago in like the 7th round, 8th round, something like that. They're jumping up now that we're getting a little bit of hype.
The combine, like that's
combine and pro days.
Fast.
This is where it starts happening. Where if rookies are in the startup draft, I don't get any rookies starting right now because I don't have the conviction to draft this unknown unless it's like a Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? But even then, I probably wasn't going to be the guy drafting him because people draft him at their ceiling a lot of times. And man, that means I'm going to miss out on some awesome rookie players on my dynasty teams for whatever startup year it is. But I just eat that because I can't handle that risk. I don't trust my evaluation of rookies enough, especially pre-NFL draft where we know those situations to eat that risk on my team.
Yeah.
Risk adverse. I love it.
I was wondering, Scott Fish came in and said, exactly, Josh, like J.K. Dobbins. He's had 2 good games. I was like, is he just like messing with me because I'm a J.K. Dobbins fan here? And, my rebuttal to that would be that Cam Akers it's just, where are we comfortable drafting these guys, right? It's not like I was taking J.K. Dobbins in that same range. I think they belong in the same range, J.K. Dobbins and Cam Akers. So I'm with you. I know you're messing with me. Yeah.
I was gonna say before you brought that up, Josh, that I do consider these guys similar. It's like they got injured and then their value got preserved in amber or something. Like everyone's just like, okay, well, we'll just put them on the shelf and they'll be the same value next year. When like we didn't have that much data going into before their injury. So
yeah.
Do you guys ever have those like preserved in amber like lollipops that would be like full of bugs and stuff?
Yeah,
you could buy them at like museums.
I didn't have them, but I just saw them at like stores, like trinket
like
stores.
Museum gift shops or trick stores.
Museum gift shops had the little yeah.
Every time, and I feel like maybe 3 times in my childhood, I was at like a museum gift shop that had one, and every time I'd be like, "Mom, I need this lollipop with a scorpion in it." Like everything in my being has to consume this scorpion. For some reason, when you said frozen in amber, that's all I could think of. If you said anything else important after that, I missed it.
I thought about Jurassic Park when he said that.
Same here, yeah. It's like if it goes like the JP franchises, I'm probably out.
Hey, Justin, I was very close to selecting Nick Chubb instead of
as was I
Antonio Gibson. But I ended up going Antonio Gibson because of age, and I expect similar production, even though I think Nick Chubb's a better running back than Antonio Gibson.
Love the volume. Love his volume, especially in the red zone.
Your team's looking pretty sexy. I'm gonna be honest.
We're building similar teams, and I think I like yours better so far. If I had to pick between yours and mine, Justin, I think through 3 rounds, I like yours a little bit better.
Well, if we're just bringing it down, I'd obviously rather have Justin Jefferson over CeeDee Lamb, but I would
too
draft his other 2 players ahead of your other 2 players. So pretty balanced. Yeah, but that's just me personally. I know how high you are on Terry McLaurin, so like.
I've still got Devontae Adams ahead of him in dynasty rankings. Yeah. So I would prefer Devontae Adams over Terry McLaurin, but it's not as big of a fall. It's from like 4 to 7 instead of maybe like 4 to. I know some people.
I'm lower on both those guys compared to you guys.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers finds a new home this week, I want to be in up Schitt's Creek.
Devontae Adams is still
I'm not buying any J-Lo this offseason. No Jordan Love for me.
No, thank you. No. Devontae Adams could still wind up in they haven't done anything with Devontae Adams yet. No, I know they were talking about franchise tagging.
They're probably going to tag him if anything. I need to make my pick here. I wasn't paying attention. I was watching everybody else here. Let's take a peek. That
happens. They'll sneak up on you.
Yeah,
Jordan asking, where do you guys stand on Kamara? I think Kamara is a very interesting topic. To the left.
Just wait for his next court appearance. It'll probably get cleared up.
Oh, I completely even forgot about that. I'm from football perspective and stuff. I'm not worried. I think he's probably reaching that age where his value will start declining, but I don't expect his performance to be like drastically worse this season. Despite he's just one of those players where like situation probably impacts his fantasy production a little bit less. And I just believe in the talent, but. In Dynasty, I don't know that I'm like going out of my way to target Alvin Kamara. If I can get a good value, then yes, but he's still reaching that point where like he's going to start depreciating.
I think it really just depends, especially for this season anyways, like what they actually add. If they bring in Winston and they really don't add another receiver or anything like that, I'm going to feel really good about him. Obviously, availability is going to be a key factor. If something happens with his legality issues, then that's something to consider. But I just don't see the Saints going out and spending like a ton of money to revamp this offense. They need to find a quarterback.
They don't have the money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the limited options there. As long as he's on the field, I think everyone should love him this season.
Yeah. What was that, Simon?
I just got stunk on by Z2.
I just got stunk on.
That's the new word for snipe. He's stunk on.
I like it so much better than snipe.
Stuck on me so good.
I got stunked on.
Reminds me of that just got dunked on video. That's like really old now. Got dunked on.
And it's the same for me. Talking about Cam Akers, it's the mentality in the back, and the fact that I expect Henderson to be out of there and McVay to relax on the running back by committee. I don't think you're wrong for projecting that. It's incredible what he's done, his bounce back, the way that and it was cool to see his energy when he came back. You could tell he was just like very excited, very driven, very motivated to be back, which you love to see. So again, we're talking nuance here. I don't think any of us are out on Cam Akers in any way.
I will say, like, Henderson's not going to be. He's going to be on the team. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know his contract.
I'm almost positive.
Sony's gone.
Darrell Henderson's still on that team.
Sony should be
out of there. Yeah. But Darrell Henderson, I think, proved his value this year in some kind of way. Like he was good throughout the year. He showed some pass catching ability. I know Sean McVay typically runs with one running back and kind of just rides that guy, but I feel like Darrell Henderson's still going to be involved.
That doesn't mean there's no value for Cam Akers, though.
Not at all.
We also have to consider what they're going to do at wide receiver too. Like Rob Woods could be a cap casualty. Are they going to bring Odell back? I feel like the start of the season, both of those running backs could have a little bit more value in a committee while they try to figure out what they're going to do at receiver.
Yeah,
don't do it, Josh.
I'm not going to. Well, I actually probably will draft again. One.
Nah, no, thank you. Well, there's one more guy. Okay, that's okay. I was wanting either Elijah Moore or
Elijah
blank. There was one of two players I was looking at there. You took Elijah Moore, and I fully expected you to take.
I was going to take Devonta Smith or Elijah Moore here for sure. And then I saw the tight ends were kind of dwindling, so I was like, I'm going to take the last elite producer that I expect to be an elite producer next season.
Yeah, I was really hoping that one of Kelsey or Kittle would slide to me there at that 410 spot. Just fingers crossed, but that's not very likely. And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Hawkinson going before Waller is pretty interesting. Kyle Pitts going in the 7th overall.
I think Hawkinson going before Waller is pretty normal, just because of the age factor.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of volume available on the Lions right now. I mean, they could go out and sign a receiver, but the way that Jared Goff operates, that ball's got to get out quick. And I like more routes around the line of scrimmage and possession type of player. So I think Amon-Ra and TJ fit well with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Victorious in here. What up, Martin? Welcome in, my friend.
Third
Traylon Burks in the third. It's interesting. How do you feel about that?
He's my number one rookie wide receiver for sure. For sure. He's the guy I want the most out of all the rookie wide receivers, but I could not take them that high either. Myself.
Where is he in your rookie rankings? Like how many other players are you taking ahead of him, regardless of position?
My rookie rankings are still so fluid. Obviously Superflex is going to play a factor into there, but Hall is above him. Mm-hmm. And then that's the count. It's like you got the running backs and there's him and the three running backs, and they're gonna kind of be all mixed in together. I haven't hashed out those rankings fully yet.
How about you, Justin? I know you're gonna pick here soon. Where's Traylon Burks in your way too early rookie rankings?
It's probably going like 2 or 3 if you're just drafting rookies right now. I mean, based off of just the talent and the consistency that we saw at the combine, we're going to get more pro days coming up here. So there's going to be more information to come. I don't think anyone needs to get settled like today or yesterday on any of these. Like Josh said, it should be a very fluid situation for all of us. So right now I would be going Breece 1, Traylon Burks 2. How you mix that into a draft like this, it's a little bit more difficult. Simon was mentioning kind of like fading like the rookies in this format. I'm very similar. I did a startup this March already where, we implemented the kicker where you draft your kicker, you get a pick, like a pick in this rookie draft. Exactly. I didn't get one until like the third 3. I got third 3 and 4 11 because I just prioritized the evaluations I believe in and I trust and I know. I took like Hunter Renfrow in like the 8th round in that one, and then I was getting a little bit of slack on him. I was like, he's a guy I believe in. If you go after your guys, if you believe that, a season like that Hunter Renfrow had is kind of like an anomaly, like this is going to come back down to earth. I like the narratives that I'm seeing, the Josh McDaniels, the trust in Derek Carr. No apparency on what's actually going to happen with Darren Waller in the future. Is he going to be around for a lot longer? Renfrow is like that high trust type of guy. So you got to go with who you know. Got to go know with who you trust. And it's really tough with the rookies in those situations because we just don't know landing spots. And obviously injuries still to come. It's really tough to gauge.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And Vincent said, getting Garrett Wilson full 2 rounds after burst is a crime. They're so far predicted top 3 rookie mock. I fully expect QB to get up the rankings, but no matter the team, I love him as my first wide receiver for sure.
And Vincent, like I think he said he was the 9th spot there, right? He was the one that took Cam Akers. He just took Drake London. And I see most experts out there having Drake London being the first wide receiver off the board in the actual NFL draft. So, I mean, like, if that's the case, like Drake London being more than 2 rounds after Treylon Burke is probably too much separation, right? So good pick with London there, Vincent.
Great pick by Swamp just now. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott down there in the 5th. I feel like I say that every draft. Dynasty startup, Zeke is always a value.
Yeah.
I almost drafted him there instead of Jerry Jeudy, but I didn't want 2 older aging running backs.
There go the two other rookie running backs, and you see the separation between them and Hall. That's the same conversation with Burks. I think
Spiller is much closer to Hall than this draft. In like how I value them, I have Brees ahead of, I have Brees ahead of Spiller, but I feel like the gap is much closer than
Spiller didn't run the 40, which is going to hurt him here. It's going to hurt him. Both Walker and Hall ran extremely like sub 4.40s, and Spiller didn't run. He had kind of an injury, but he did some other workouts. I think his 40 time was going to be lackluster when it comes down to it, regardless.
We're going to get a pro day.
They said he was going to, in the report I read, it said he's going to run at his pro day, that he was nursing an injury. That's why he didn't do all the drills. And he's going to run at his pro day.
I still think it's going to be not sub 4.4. Let's just put it that way. Which is going to create separation in people's minds, I think.
I just confirmed this comment in here. Found it from Ian Rappaport. Calvin Ridley was gambling on NFL games during the season and has been suspended for a full year. So thank you, Z2, for sniping that player from me. I really appreciate it.
Saved you.
Nearly 5 minutes before the news came out. And guys, I know people hate you in startups when you take the clock, but it can help sometimes to take the clock. News happens in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
This hurts.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm a Calvin Ridley owner. This is not
I don't have him in one league.
I don't think I do either.
Me neither.
Sorry.
What's the reason behind this?
What's the way?
You're not allowed to bet on NFL games as a player.
Oh, Calvin, you dog. Watching too many Take It to the Hizzy episodes. What the hell? He's like, this Justin guy, he banged the shit out of my drum.
Yeah, easy bet.
Like, I gotta hit this one to Justin throughout today. I just have to. You know what? He left. Man, that stinks.
Is he out of the Hall of Fame now? Like, what are we talking about? Like, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know more about Calvin Ridley gambling.
Is this when he stepped away, or did he do it? Did he start doing it like because he was just at home?
And whose games was he betting on? Who cares if he's betting on, the Rams and the Super Bowl or whatever, the Bengals? Like, who cares about that?
I guess it's just against the rules. Like it's to avoid any form of potential collusion. You're not allowed to bet on any games in the league.
No, that's insane.
He wasn't playing.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Scott Fish giving us some insight here because he does spend a lot of time understanding like rules and regulations and laws around this stuff. And Scott, he said you're also not even allowed to play in fantasy leagues for money, like as an NFL player. And that's why, Sleeper did the one with AJ Dillon that Scott was in. It's 100% charity, no entry fee. So that's good to know. I think they just like stay far away from anything that could be conflict of interest.
I am trying to choose Joe Burrow. It won't let me choose Joe Burrow.
Someone in the chat said that Sleeper crashed for them.
Or just
it's crashing for me.
I don't know.
Just give me Joe Burrow.
Give me all the money.
No, and I'm seeing the pick before you, Justin, was an auto pick. So like,
and they were trying to take Kyler.
Joe Burrow.
There was Joe Burrow.
I got him. I was trying to pause the draft to give them Kyler, but now it's not working for me.
They're trying to take Kyler Themo Brule.
Doesn't Sleeper know that we are streaming right now?
Doesn't Sleeper know I'm trying to get these updates on Calvin Ridley like right now?
I think probably that's why it crashed. Yeah. Yes.
They sent out the push notification
and everyone's like, what?
Oops. I got a big oops thing on my screen now.
Oh no.
Oh,
well,
come on.
We may have to adjust.
Ridley crashed Sleeper.
Ridley did crash.
Okay,
I think everyone saw that. And
I had the best team, and we're good.
The mob rule. I'm trying to get you, Kyler Murray, but nothing's working here. Karen, Simon, yeah. Can I talk to Sleeper's manager, please? Could someone from Sleeper get the manager on the phone?
Come on, McBearcat. You only have 5 seconds.
It's not working, and it won't even let me pause the draft.
Better pick McBearcat. Oh, you screwed up.
Calvin really tweeted saying, I learned from my L's.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to...
he didn't make money.
Maybe he does watch my show.
Oh. Oops, looked like something went wrong.
That's not great.
It's not on, that's for sure. So Calvin Ridley's last 3 tweets, I learned from my L's. Laughing emoji 2 days ago, and then classic line. He was probably watching some Ted Lasso. Football is life. Football emoji is life. Football is life.
Football's life.
Man, yeah, I saw the Football is life tweet a few days ago, and I was like, okay, that's good news. That's promising.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Because it is football is life. Yeah. But they said football is life, and then like 20 minutes later, you just sent a bunch of like cracking up faces.
Yeah.
So it was like no one could get anything from it.
He's having a conversation with himself. That's what's happening.
Guys, I'm going to try to get Sleeper working over there. It is not working right now.
Yeah, talk to them on their back end.
Yeah, I'm reloading, trying separate windows. I'm going to go try to address every single person Googling Calvin Ridley right now personally, so they'll stop looking for it.
Yeah, please stop. We're doing something.
Yeah, we're busy, guys.
It's working on my end, and I say that not having any idea if it's actually working.
It's not working on my end.
This is what we got right here.
I'm just saying it's working because I can look at the mock draft. Oh, I actually can't even look at the mock draft.
Also, McBearcat, do not apologize. That was not on you. The Sleeper app broke.
It is your fault.
McBearcat.
I think you came in here and you broke the news to all of us, which made all of us look at different things, and it just broke Sleeper. Like we have that kind of.
They can't handle more than 4 people on their site at once.
Okay. We're back up. Let's see.
That's a good
start.
Go.
Here we go.
I'm going to remove.
I'm a little concerned with the ability of everyone else to do the same.
To navigate.
Ma'am. I want to say this. I wish mine won't even show me the board. So.
And mine's not working.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I just refreshed it and it's going.
Mine's not loading.
Yeah, we might.
You win some, you lose some, boys.
We might have gone audible on that one. That did not work. We might have to do a makeup mock draft Monday at some point. And McBearcat said, I got stuck with Claypool for reading the news.
Claypool's good, though. Claypool's good. That's not a bad thing. ESPN just breaking the news to me on my iPad now.
Everyone, go to
ESPN. Going crazy. No one can handle.
Someone just texted me and said, they wish that I took the Calvin Ridley trade that I was looking for because I went out to go get him again. This offseason. And they turned it down, thank goodness. So I don't have overshares of them, but my God.
So that brings up an interesting question. With knowing Calvin Ridley is out for 1 year, but likely will be back on an NFL team the year after. Still very young, is still like a highly talented wide receiver whenever we've seen him out there. Do you guys have any interest as a serious buy low in Dynasty right now?
Yes.
Go to a contender and maybe offer some picks or something for Calvin Ridley. Would you guys trade a first for Calvin Ridley right now? A 2022 first for Calvin Ridley, knowing he's going to be out for a year?
No,
I wouldn't.
First is tough.
A second for sure, right?
So this type of move it's like, this is how I approach this every time something like this happens. Is I go and I talk to the league mate who has that player and see where they are, because I feel like you either go one of 2 ways. You're digging your heels in. You're like, I'm not going to trade him at this low
cost fallacy.
Sunk cost fallacy. He'll come back. He'll be amazing. And you have to be the same cost.
He'll also be a free agent.
Oh, that's a good point too. Well, yeah, I guess
which is a good thing for him because let's be honest, Matt Ryan is not long for the NFL.
With this world,
So Matt Ryan's going to be out of there sooner rather than later. Who knows what the quarterback or offense is going to look like? And it was a mess last year with Matt Ryan. So, like, get this guy in a good offense. I think it's good that he's a free agent. When it comes down to it, though, he's going to be 28 years old with only one really good season. I think one season in the top 24 wide receivers, I believe. Only one, which was a good season. It was a top 10 wide receiver season.
I'll trade him for a second. I wouldn't take a second, though. I'll trade a second for him, but I would not take a second for him.
Right. I want to buy him in every format still.
Who really wants him, though? Like, the competitors aren't going to really want him because he has to sit on for a year. The rebuilders is going to be 28 years old. And when he comes back and you're a rebuilding team, like...
Josh, Darnell Mooney or Calvin Ridley offered you tomorrow?
I almost brought him up because he was drafted right behind Jerry Jeudy, and I almost brought that up.
I'll take Mooney.
You'll take Mooney? Justin, what about you? I think that's
it depends on your situation. If you're trying to win now, then Mooney. But if you look at your roster and you just tell yourself, like, hey, like, this isn't my year, I don't have quarterbacks, or I'm missing another piece, then sure, go out and get him, because he's gonna be cheaper than any other time he would be.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that
like when Josh said, like, oh, like, who still wants him? Like, I do. Like, I believe in Calvin Ridley.
I know he's talented.
Like he's Harvey Dent. I believe in Harvey Dent. I believe in Calvin Ridley. Like, just the same way. Like, what I see when I see him on the field, he's just a guy that I have a lot of high trust in. Like, his ability to run routes, his hands, like, everything that he can do. Like, look how well he played with an aging Matt Ryan. Imagine if he leaves the Falcons and goes onto a team with a younger quarterback, stronger arm, more accurate arm, whatever it is. I mean, honestly, given this situation, I think this could open up a trade opportunity more sooner than later for Calvin Ridley. I mean, I know that this offseason, the Falcons were saying, like, oh, we want to do what we can to keep him on board. They had to know that this was going on. Like, I don't know how he got caught, if it was like, personal, like friends, or if it was like a insider situation, but
it was Antonio Brown's chef, I think, is who snitched.
Makes sense.
But I look at this more or less like Allen Robinson. I know it's not exactly the same, because Allen Robinson had a bad season while he was playing. That's a little bit of a difference, but he's going to be more or less the same age. They both had elite production in the past, but now they're going to be coming into situations that there's going to be a lot of confusion. So if we just like put him in the Allen Robinson category real fast, I'm drafting Darnell Mooney over Allen Robinson,
Sure.
But Allen Robinson also doesn't have zero value.
I think Allen Robinson still has plenty of value. Speaking as a Bears fan, you're going to see Mitch Trubisky here get a contract. It may not be like the world's end deal for a quarterback.
You think he'll be a starter?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Given right now the atmosphere and the situation of quarterbacks in the NFL, like, we're seeing the Seahawks are probably going to hold Russell Wilson. We're seeing the Packers are probably going to hold Aaron Rodgers. Who else was potentially on the move? I mean, Carson Wentz could be on the move, but no one really wants
Wilson, maybe.
I don't think he's going to be on the move. The Commanders offered a huge haul for him, and they said no. Like, if the Commanders were saying, like, oh, we're willing to give up everything for a franchise guy, they made a huge offer to Seattle. We don't know what it is yet, but I'm assuming it included big names. They were talking about moving Chase Young, even Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, saying no one is off the table here. And Seattle turns it down. Like, who else is going to come in with a big splashing offer? You know what I mean?
Okay. I would have been so sad if I saw news Russell Wilson to the Commanders and then looked.
You're like, Terry McLaurin, yes,
and then saw that Terry McLaurin was part of the package. That would have been such like a roller coaster of emotions.
That would have been way better than the Calvin Ridley news. I would have been just fine with that being today's headline.
Also, guys, with where we are right now, as you can see, it's back up. It let me remove a player, but the button to unpause the draft is gone. There are no controls for me to resume this draft. So that's where we are. I'm going to try to see if I can get it going again, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to mock.
But whoever brought up that Darnell Mooney jail, was that your Simon?
Which one
was it? It was you. That was good. That really put me on the spot. Like, because obviously we're still like thinking about this. We literally just got hit with the news. I still got to contemplate it, but Calvin Ridley was lower for me than most other people already. Now you take into account this, like, I'm sorry, but in my personal opinion, he's going to get lowered. I put him close to Allen Robinson at this point, and maybe even lower because Allen Robinson is going to be playing next year.
I think that's a fair spot. That's a good, like, I think
he'll be playing for a better team than Mooney probably. So
yeah, and you're a Bears fan, and
I'm a Bears fan.
So can I just ask you real fast? How do you feel about Mooney?
Like, I love Darnell Mooney. He was a big guy that I wanted to buy last season. You got to make great value last draft.
Awesome
Obviously,
value coming into this season.
But now you're gonna have to pay up for him a little bit more because Allen Robinson is gone. Obviously, the Bears may try to go out and get somebody, but I think he's going to be a good target. It's just that he's probably going to be overbought. He's going to be overvalued in our drafts. I still see a lot of guys ahead of him. I would not draft Allen Robinson ahead of him because I can probably get Allen Robinson at value on a better roster. People are saying he's washed, he's done. Like, Matt Nagy did not provide an offensive framework for Justin Fields or Allen Robinson. Matt Nagy didn't even speak to Allen Robinson the entire offseason leading into last season. The guy who filled in for the Raiders HC wrote everybody a poem at the end of his year, like or what, a personal letter, you know what I mean, after their playoff loss to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy couldn't send his franchise receiver a text all offseason. Obviously, there were issues there. So if people are slowing up on AR, I'll be there to pick them up.
It looks like is it back?
It's back, is what I was going to say. I got it working, so it is back and ready to go.
Simon picked Sleeper. Tell your friends.
Cool.
Sleeper's the way to go.
All right, let's speed through this then. We got this.
And I changed the draft clock to 30 seconds, guys. Just so everyone's aware.
Pick fast.
Draft clock is at 30 seconds, not at 60 seconds anymore. We're going to try to get through as much of this on the stream today as possible. But man, you guys are going fast now at 30 seconds apiece.
Yeah,
we got some autos on, I think.
Jason, I think Trubisky winds up on my Giants. That would be so.
I don't think he's going to be the starter though. I don't think he's going to be the starter right off the bat. Daniel Jones
just be a Giants
Jones over Mitch Trubisky.
No, I think it.
Oh yes.
At the very least, it would be a quarterback competition. But I think Daniel Jones is their starter right now. I'm not saying.
Well, there's the narrative of like when the competition is close, like in camp, the tie goes to the runner or the incumbent, right? That's the only scenario where I see Dan Jones as the starter over Mitch. I mean, it's Brian Daboll's offense now. He's been with Mitch for a whole year. Obviously, if he's going to bring him in and sign him, there's going to be good reason why. So Dan Jones will be in the hot seat. I just don't see it lasting.
Did you see Chase Claypool was drafted twice?
Awesome. That's great.
Oh no. That was Allen Robinson before.
Again too?
It was Allen Robinson before, just so you guys know.
Which one was McBearcat?
That's what it said. I don't know if that's who he meant to pick, but that's what it said.
Can we get a refund from Sleeper
for this mock draft?
Oh shoot!
By the way, I put that question you asked Simon in the chat. Would you take now Dynasty Mooney or Ridley? 60% said Mooney. 10 votes.
60%. Interesting.
It's interesting.
I don't know. The reason I asked that one is I don't know what my answer would be. I'm not 100% positive who I would take. And I think, Justin, you probably gave the truest answer. It really depends on your team construction. Like, where are you? Are you a year out? If you're a year out,
always
then why
is in
not?
Dynasty. It has to be, right?
The player. Yeah. The player that, perception-wise, I believe if they're both playing this year, I want Ridley over Mooney.
I want Chase Claypool.
In my eyes. Yeah, everyone gets a Chase Claypool. You get a Chase Claypool. Let's see.
Jasmine, this really is the best mock draft Monday ever. Claypool is on the board twice. You know what? You're seeing behind the curtains, I guess.
I'm taking him a third time.
I want Chase Claypool.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Nobody tell J-Wall what happened here, and we'll just have him do a mock draft analysis. Yeah, mock draft.
By the way, I didn't draft Dak Prescott, but I did. I just didn't realize.
It's good. It's a good pick.
I was too busy talking about Chase Claypool being big twice.
Are there any other duplicate players up there, or is it just Claypool?
No, not yet.
I think it had to do with that was the player whenever it bugged out. Absolutely had to do with that.
Just double Chase Claypool. It's all good.
Jason, let's see how many times you can draft Claypool.
I tried. You can't draft him again.
So you say.
C2 said,
I'm adding him to my watch list.
Just sunk my mock draft.
I think it sunk a lot of people's vibes, including Justin's specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, no, sunk one of my fantasy squads. Like, I'll tell you a little tidbit here. Oh, I guess I'm not up next. I was going to say after my pick, but
you are up next. You're up next.
Oh, guess
you're now.
Never mind. Mine's still a little slow over here, so let me make this pick really quick.
While you're making that pick, Vince, I've had an offer for Allen Robinson at the end of last season. I kind of regret not taking it, but let's see if you would have done it, or if I did good holding it up, holding on.
At the end of last season, okay.
So, gosh, why can't I think right now? Allen Robinson for Devontae Booker. I had Saquon Hurton pushing 2022 second, third.
You didn't. Devontae Booker is nothing in this trade, really, when it comes down to it. So the 208
second, yeah,
he got A-Rob for Devontae Booker.
I'm probably just holding A-Rob. No, he's trading A-Rob for Devontae Booker, 208, a third and 2/3. It's not a bad trade.
It's not.
Just A-Rob and the picks, man.
I think I'm with you.
No, it'd be A-Rob for Booker and the picks.
Yeah, you don't need Booker in there. I don't get that, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I would probably want another. I would probably want like at least two second round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, off the top of the head, maybe a first. Yeah. But I don't know that you're gonna get a first for Allen Robinson.
No, I don't know. Absolutely not. I mean, you need like 5 or 6 rounds in your draft or something like that. Like you'd need just like a ton of like pick capital in the rookie draft in general. So I drafted last season in a dynasty startup. I think I drafted like Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. I was really high on both of them. I was like, Antonio Brown's going to play well for the Bucs. Obviously, he had a good start until everything kind of fell apart, right? So I'm like, well,
he was awesome.
I really want Calvin Ridley, and I was just kind of really like frustrated. I missed on him in the draft. It was only by like a couple of picks. So I'm like, you know what? I'm all in for this season. I'm not even worried about this year's first round pick. So I traded away Chris Godwin and a first for Ridley. The guy was just being really tough. I couldn't get him off for anything else. So I was like, all right, I'm good with it. I believe in Calvin. Obviously, didn't work out. Still made a run. I finished in second and made a run of the championship. So all not for nothing, but it would have been better with Calvin Ridley on my roster. But I was pumped. I was like, all right, cool. You know, I finished in second. You know, I got Calvin coming back this season. Not too bad. It makes that trade not so great. So gonna take an L on that one.
It's an interesting question from Martin, and I'm curious your opinions because I feel like I haven't discussed this in particular with people. It's just whatever the league settings are, they're different from league to league. People tend to go with it, but Ridley's going to have the SUS, the suspended designation. So what's your opinion on allowing players with that designation to go on to the IR? And I know there was a lot of talk about IR as well with like the COVID designation this year, but Justin, I saw your reaction. That's exactly how I feel. Any player that's not contributing and has that sort of designation, I think you should be allowed to put in your IR spot. It's not your fault that Calvin Ridley bet on NFL games, and you shouldn't have to release him into the wild for a team with maybe an empty roster spot to claim. Now, I don't hate it if you're of the opinion that this was something of his own volition and suspended players shouldn't go on there. That's just how I feel about it. Justin, I saw your thumbs up. You in agreement?
Yeah, it's just a really easy call. I mean, you're gonna make owners like waste an entire roster spot because of that. I mean, imagine people that wanted to draft Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean?
You're on the clock, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, yeah,
very limited.
Let's take a peek here. Let's take a peek when we got. How much time I got?
15 seconds.
And guys, just in regard to the conversation we were just having, in a perfect world, you want that hashed out before the league starts. You want rules set in place that just say exactly what you're going to do in that kind of situation. That's a perfect world. I know that most of us are not in that perfect situation. And now you're in situations where it's like, oh, no, it won't let me, and I think I should, or vice versa. Really, just a determination's got to be made one way or the other, and you're just going to have to stick with it throughout the league. I'm right in the middle in this. Like, I don't care. Like, you just got to make a determination one way or the other and stay with it. And that's the rule going forward. I think either way is fine, in my opinion.
Really. Yeah. I think you can change it if you get everybody to buy in, right? Year to year, you can make that change. But the essence of what you're saying, Josh, is I'm 100% on board. It's like, just have it set. Either way, it's just two different ways. Like the strategy slightly changes on how you use it, right? From like a game mechanics perspective. I'm with you, Josh. I don't really care. I think, but by having more IR spots, you are giving, like, that person does have an advantage because now they can go and pick someone else up either to fill in or maybe to stash. And so I think you just need to have like a limited number of those spots available. And I'm fine if you want to allow suspended players in there.
Well, I think it's really tough just with the COVID era that we're in now, right? Like a player can get pulled from that game that weekend, even if they don't have COVID, if they've been dinged for being around someone or something like that, you know, if they're asymptomatic, but they test positive or whatever it is, right? So like I feel like in those circumstances where you can just have someone taken away from you, it's very similar. Like we may not agree with that rule about gambling. It's really up to the NFL's rule, right? But at the end of the day, like they're the one that are saying like he's not eligible to play. It's not even like, the team thing. Or, last year when he took time away, I don't know what he was designated. Was he on the IR when he just said, hey, I'm taking some time off to make some picks and, watch the hizzy?
He's on the physically unable to perform, the PUP list.
He was on the PUP. Okay, I got you.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's pretty much the same thing. He's physically unable. Like they're physically not allowing him to play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really good franchise tag players, but they're gonna kick him off for this. Like it drives me nuts.
Yeah. What do you say, Simon?
This is where I start feeling comfortable drafting rookies. Know what I mean? This is like as the draft goes on, you go less and less from safety and more into upside. And I'll draft a rookie here. You know what I mean? Like, but that's why
I love that pick, Simon.
In this format, I don't get the like top end rookies. I never do because I just won't take that risk that early. If I light my 9th round pick on fire, like, yeah, that sucks. Know what I mean? A 9th round pick is valuable, but it's a lot less than if I would have taken Breece Hall instead of Derrick Henry right there. Know what I mean? Like that cost is so much higher.
I don't think it's like a positive, what's it like a plus EV move here to take rookies that high before the draft. Personally, I think
that doesn't mean it's wrong. That doesn't mean it can't work out.
Yeah.
Like it absolutely can.
It can work out. Yeah. I just think, the probability that they're gonna return that value, I think, is lower than drafting a player who's already in the league. Drafting rookies that high is what I'm saying. Not just drafting rookies in general, but just drafting them at that height in a startup.
I think the counter argument would be is like if you do want to chase rookies to that higher draft stock before the NFL draft, you can also leverage free agents at the bottom of this draft as well. Like if you kind of want to flip the script there, because there's a lot of guys that are still going to be riding your bench while they're older in age, they're not as young. They're still going to be on your bench filling in for your bye weeks that might be free agents. Like those Allen Robinsons or Amari Cooper. We have no idea where he might be playing next year, right? So maybe he falls a little bit more. Even a guy like Jamison Crowder, like if he, somehow landed in with the Bills or the Chiefs, as a free agent, people would be loving that value in, 17, 18 rounds.
Josh, just to hit on this point, it's Trajan Najee would say you guys are wrong. I don't think they would
say we're right.
I don't think they would say we're wrong because I'm not saying you can't hit on rookies early in the draft. I'm saying there's a risk factor to players that have never played in the NFL that in those early rounds, I'm unwilling to take that risk. So I will
and haven't been drafted yet.
Like Chase and Najee. Now, that being said, in rookie drafts, it's all rookies. Everyone has that uncertainty. That's where I get guys like this. Whenever I'm in a pre-existing dynasty league and I'll try to trade up for that 101.
And for every person you're going to point out, there's equal amount of people we could point out going the other way.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Confirmation bias.
Look, last couple draft classes have been awesome, as well. Like they've been hyped up. Like people have known the last couple draft classes were going to be awesome. This one's I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's horrible. There's still going to be great players coming out of it, but you're taking a shot. It's a coin flip with some of these guys, right? So
yeah,
exactly.
I've got their value's going to change drastically with the NFL draft, and so it's kind of like there won't be as much fluctuation for a lot of these players who are already here, where you have this event that's going to really change valuations of rookies before they even have an opportunity to play. And so that's just sort of like how we're factoring it in. Not that some can't be right and some can't be wrong, just balancing risk versus reward here.
And another thing I know was brought up, we love draft capital is such an important part of this equation. We want to see how high they're getting drafted, how NFL teams actually truly feel about them and the capital they're willing to spend on them. And that just the fact that they're able to, or wanting to do that, especially in a first round pick, it just gives us all the more faith that this player is going to be utilized in the way we expected.
You know what's such a good illustration of this point that we're all sort of circling around here? Go look at your rookie drafts from previous seasons. Because every time I do that, I'm like, wow, we had not even rookie drafts, but just your starter drafts, your redraft drafts. Go look at what we think to be true versus how things actually shake out. It's wildly different, and we just kind of forget about it a lot. So I'm always shocked whenever I go look at those rookie ones, like Simon stealing Antonio Gibson for me in the 3rd round of every rookie draft.
Yeah, well, or what about me trading back one pick so that you could draft Jalen Waddle and I would just take Terrace Marshall, me thinking they were about equal in value.
Same thing.
I was like, I get a free player on top of it. Sounds good to me. No.
Where do I sign?
No.
Not quite.
Where do I sign?
Tough decision here. I'll go with
and Josh, this is the first time I've drafted with the idea of reaching on youth, and I really like my team. Most of the time, I draft for win now. I like that strat. I like go and I might seem contradictory to what I was just saying, but like go and get your guys right, like in these types of formats, because even though there's going to be a lot of fluctuation in their value, people also don't have a ton of information at this point, and so a lot of people's valuations are wrong, and so there is opportunity to make to get some value out of this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say you're wrong for taking those guys here. I'm just trying to say I don't do that. Like, I don't have the risk tolerance to allow myself to do that with those early picks. Doesn't mean you're wrong. I'm going to miss on players, and you'll probably miss on some too that you draft up there. But in my eyes, I would rather miss on the players I didn't draft than on the players I did draft. But that's just a personal preference.
Jay said, related to that conversation about that Martin brought up about suspended players in the IR, said if he's not on IR, he can't be on the IR. His take. Yeah, there's I think different opinions on this.
Don't worry about my Chris Carson pick. That wasn't me.
Josh, I don't think that's a bad pick in the 10th round.
COVID players aren't on the IR either.
It's too early. It's too early.
Yeah. What were you saying, Justin?
COVID players aren't on the IR. They're just listed as a COVID-19 designation. They're not allowed to play that Sunday. So what are you supposed to do? Like, I mean, obviously, you could just lose the roster spot, but a lot of leagues that I play in allow you to slide that guy onto the IR so that you have the opportunity to still compete.
And you're using up an IR spot, which has value too. So like,
yeah, of course, because you could have legitimately hurt players.
Yeah, it's all just like mechanics of it. I don't think there's a right or wrong. Vincent asking, can we talk about Elijah Mitchell falling so deep into drafts? Like how and why? Where did Elijah Mitchell go here?
Too late.
7-7. And I would have drafted him ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but if you remember, Vincent, this was right after the sleeper debacle that we had. And my pick, I didn't even pick Dak Prescott, and I was kind of
being honest. I would take him over. I would take him over AJ Dillon. I didn't see Elijah Mitchell on the board there, or I would have taken him there.
I blame sleeper.
Dillon. Yeah, damn it, sleeper. That's why Elijah Mitchell's getting drafted so late. But as far as like where he's being listed in ADP, I bet we see that bump up by the time the season comes around. He's not going to be in the 7th round.
It's a great system.
Yeah, he's going to hit. Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
I was just saying a great system, just a lot of mouths to feed. We need to get more clairvoyancy on what's going on with their running game. You know, they were talking about Raheem Mostert last week about, they're okay bringing him back. Obviously that's not ideal, but I think Elijah Mitchell is still that guy that's going to be the dude for them. I mean, Trey Sermon, he was there, but even when he was healthy, he wasn't getting like touches. He wasn't being progressed, at least in like game flow anyways. You know what I mean? Like Elijah Mitchell he became that guy. I think he's the one that you're going to trust in the red zone. And we just got to wait and see what's going to be up with Debo. I mean, like, are they really going to use him like that, like a wide back continuously? I feel like it's coach talk. I just don't see him getting that volume up the middle like that with those inside dives. And
Raheem Mostert, he's going to be 30 years old by the start of the next NFL season. So, like, even if they bring him back, like,
what's to be worried about?
I'm sure he'll get some work. The 49ers, they know that they need running backs because, let's be honest, a lot of these guys end up getting injured, and they have a next man up mentality, and that's what they've always had. But Elijah Mitchell's the guy. As long as he can stay healthy, I'm pretty confident he's going to be the guy next year. So
that's really the big knock. I think he only played in 11 games this season, but in those 11 games, he totaled 1,100 yards through the year. So I mean, I think there's a lot to like about him.
Yeah. It's really that offense is just so set up that Kyle Shanahan zone run blocking scheme is set up for people, the running backs in the system, to succeed, regardless of who it is. Elijah Mitchell is a little bit extra. He's a little bit better maybe for even the system. So he's a perfect fit. Just got to stay healthy, like you said.
And just to unroll the Trey Lance layer there as well, when you have a rushing quarterback, typically the RB1 numbers or volume go up. Their efficiency goes up when you have a primary rushing quarterback. Not saying that Trey Lance is going to be that guy, but he seems like he's still a more athletic, versatile player, like running with the ball, being out of the pocket, than he is a more accurate downfield thrower. So obviously the quarterback position is going to play a role there too.
I'm right there with you. I agree.
Also, Matt, just wanted to say, do not apologize for slow drafting. The slowest you could have gone is a minute per pick, and that's not slow. And then on top of that, we ran into so many issues with Sleeper, people getting kicked out, the app crashing whenever the Ridley news broke. You have absolutely nothing to apologize for. And Vincent,
thanks for drafting with us.
Yeah, love it. Vincent loving his last 5 picks. Vincent is Ooga Booga, right?
Yeah, number 9.
Ooga booga
Ooga booga.
So
Allen Robinson, though, I wouldn't expect him there in most drafts. I think 3 or 4 people tried to draft him and couldn't. Something sleeper.
The fact that he got Deshaun Watson and then Matthew Stafford in the last round.
Calvin, say it's not so.
Yeah, so I was just reading up on this. Apparently, it happened. It was after he had already taken leave. And the NFL statement said like within a 5-day period. I didn't see anything about it being involved in games, but it sounds like there are reports out there that is the case. Scott Fish saying so. Ridley bet on Falcons games. I did see in that press release by the NFL or from Goodell that they found no evidence of him like tampering essentially or using inside information.
It's not his fault that they set soft lines on the Falcons games. Like
he's like, I know we're gonna lose. How do they expect to win without me? I'll just
something interesting, and I think someone mentioned earlier in the chat, but Adam Beasley tweeted out that he's basically that this puts the Falcons in a good position from a cap perspective, because Ridley's all of his guarantees and his $11 million salary won't count against their books this year. Most likely will all be voided. So it's interesting, but there's a lot to this. Clearly, there's a lot to this story.
And Vincent said, even without A-Rob, I love the picture. We can take A-Rob out of it. Great value on both of those quarterbacks. And then the 2 wide receivers, you've got an older wide receiver and a wide receiver with question marks to get in the 10th, the 11th round, but ones who showed serious value on the field this year. I think that's great value on all of those picks, Vincent. I understand why you feel like he stole every single one of them. I might feel the same way.
Odell, like he might need a little bit more time getting back because this injury occurred right just last month in the Super Bowl. So he might not be ready for the start of the year, but he proved a lot. I'm not saying he was bad.
That's nothing. That's chump change.
I know that's
to get suspended for a whole
year.
To gamble 11 million. I mean,
it's either so common that he's like, this will be fine, or he's just like, we'll see.
He did not get the memo.
All I know going off of this is the total was 1,500. Was that the total he bet, or he won? Because like
he bet 1,500 total,
or is it the total that he like was that his? That could have been his initial bankroll. That could have been his initial bankroll, which he turned into more, and in reality placed tens of thousands of dollars of bets.
Millions.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah.
Now we're speculating. Let's get into the wild speculation. National Enquirer gossip.
Justin, thank you for joining us today. This mock draft was fantastic.
Went off without a hit.
Everybody watching, thank you so much for drafting with us today. And thank you for putting up with the sleeper antics. Mick Bearcat, try not to break that kind of news in the middle of the stream next time when we're mock drafting on sleeper. But thank you guys for real. And Justin, thank you so much for coming on with us and putting up with sleepers antics while we were trying to draft. Guys, if you do not already follow Justin on Twitter, go and do that right now at TITTHJB on Twitter. Justin, this is a lot of fun. Appreciate you coming in here, drafting with us, and giving us some insight onto your draft strategy today.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to the next time.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. And guys, that is going to be it for us this afternoon. What did Scott say before we jump off? He said, it's actually funny because I'll have retired players play in safe leagues, and we have to mark them as no longer a player.
I thought that was interesting. He said that a little while ago, but I was scrolling up there. I saw it. That's pretty interesting.
Guys, that is going to be it for us this afternoon. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football fun. If you don't like your team, you 100% blame it on sleeper this time. But next time, it's all on you. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Adios, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Makes fantasy fun.
Take care.
Love you guys.